Hi folks, and welcome to this week's Skippy track guide at Sonoma. Now this is a very weird layout, and I did have to do some learning because there's a few corners in here that I've never been around before in my entire 4 and a bit years on iRacing. So yeah, really weird layout, IRL layout is it, or something silly like that? Anyway, let's crack on with the temperature, 86 Fahrenheit, which is relatively cool, as it always has been. And the laps, you should be able to see it above my head, which is brilliant. Lap number 10, which is a 45.425, which isn't too bad. We're it's definitely one of my quickest, but we're high 45s, and then we dipped a few into the 0.4s there, which is pretty good going. I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. Nice track, a few tricky corners, a lot of hills and undulations. You can probably tell on turn 1, which is just over the car there. You can see we come up quite a steep hill. Otherwise, setup will be in the description as always. Otherwise, crack on. Right then, so start finish line crossing now. It's quite a short run to turn 1. It is this little kink on the start finish straight here. Wouldn't worry too much about it. Just be careful at the start. A lot of cars all jostling for a position, as particularly as it is quite wide with walls, and then it does narrow up for turn 2. This little turn that you come up under the advertising bridge there isn't counted on the track as a corner, so I'm guessing all of this is turn 1 at the moment. Want to come up wide, then come to the left hand side of the track, and you want to try and spot the curbing as it darts left, so about there. And as we come off that, that's where we need to get on the brakes. Moving the chase cam over to the left-hand side so you can see me hit the apex, and listen on the full speed laps. I do actually take a bit too much of this, and the rear right tyre comes off the ground and the engine revs do increase. So we are wheel spinning and we're not getting on the power, which is not good. So a little less curb of turn 1. Coming off, don't run too far wide. It can be really tricky out there. And, well, if you get in the desert, as I'm calling it, it's a one-way ticket. It's going to happen. A lot of people are going to be diving off in different areas around here, so just be warned. Turns 3 and 3A, when the tires are warm, you want to kind of just a slight lift. When the tires are cold, maybe down into second gear, but I haven't found any need to. Stay to the left as much as we can, and chase cam needs to get out of the way before we see the apex. Take loads of curve, and then I have a big lift, as you can see on the trace there, just before apex, before I get on the corner. Going uphill, we don't want the car to understeer as much as it would if we were full throttle. Full throttle down the hill now, stay in third gear, scream its little heart out. We are hunting for the end of the curbing, and we're just bringing our brake just before we come to the end of the curb there. Down a gear, all trail braking all the way into the apex. Now this curb on the inside is quite large, so I do avoid it. Get as close as you can though. Back on the power as early as possible, but do not run wide for 2 reasons. It's another off track, and there is a horrible bump just there. You can just see the car get slightly unsettled by it, and you can damage your front wing on it, so be careful around there. Turn 5 is non-existent. It's all setting up for this long turn 6. Now this is really awkward. There's not really a braking point that I can see. It's normally as the track dips down, and I'm braking and turn at the same time. Really awkward braking zone this, because I want to turn the car as well as slow it down for the corner. About mid-corner, when the front starts to bite, we bring the car back to the apex of the corner, and we want to ride these as much of this curb as we can without coming off of it. If you come off it a bit too early, you're going to run wide on the little straight here. So that's probably about the limit there. You can see that when I'm full throttle, I don't want to lift off because it's quite a decent straight down here. I want to maximize the straight line speed, and we do kind of use all of this curve on the right hand side. If you do get out there a bit more, it can be a little bit tricky spinning out, particularly with the angle of the car. Coming down the straight now, moving over to the left hand side, and you're looking for the tires, and just as that comes off my center monitor, that's when I'm standing on the brake. Really late braking, because we're also going to set the car up turning and also brake while turning. Avoid this apex completely. It's too big to worry about, and basically want to try and hook this really awkward second part of turn 7. It's like a hammerhead. It comes back on itself, and that's where we want to be, because it's the outside of the track comes in as well. So if we push too wide, we end up cutting this corner and getting a slowdown, which is really pain in the rear. These next few corners are all turn 8 apparently, so all we're doing is minimizing steering angle as much as we can and maximizing our straight line speed. This is quite deceptive. it's got a lot of runoff here, so don't be frightened to lift off there if it does seem narrow. Most awkward braking zone in the history of the world. There's absolutely nothing around here. There's a little dink on the yellow line there that I've been using, but it's really hard to pick something out. So I'll just pause it there so you can just have a look there. Turns, what is this, 9A? I don't know where 9 went, but we do actually cut these quite a lot. This second one, though, is very, very bumpy. Get the car rotated before you go over the bumps because it does push you wide. And obviously you can see the right-hand side of the track here is coming back into our path. So definitely don't want to understeer past that one. Coming around one of the last full throttle corners, let's say, of turn 10. This is generally trickier on another layout because it is a bit grip bearing of the poor Skippy, but we get around there no problem. This one, the black barrier on the left hand side, as that disappears past our left eye, we're braking in a straight line to, again, another pain in the ass corner that has no bearing of where the apex is apart from some paint. So really awkward to spot this. There is an off track, and I think there was a slowdown when I was testing this earlier, so be careful not to cut that too much. The exit, you can cut whatever the hell you like, so all I'm doing here is straightening the car up to maximize our straight line speed, and that is pretty much the lap over. As I say, it's a really awkward layout. It's quite twisty. There's going to be a few overtaking down the straights down into turn 7 as it's such a big braking zone, and down into 9A, which is the really awkward chicane where you can cut the corners quite well. Be careful out there. If you do touch a bit of desert, you are going to be finding it a little bit interesting, but that is across the line in a screenshot this time rather than pausing the video because I forgot to put it on the video, of a 1:45.425. As always, guys, let us know how you get along around here. I'm not going to enjoy this week. I didn't enjoy this track that much, apart from turn 2, sorry. I do enjoy that corner coming up the hill and then kicking it to the right hand side. Full speed chase and cockpit chat, cockpit cam are to follow. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching this, and I'll catch you on the next one.